Hello, hi. I am so sorry for being so late. Um, we had a last minute plan come up with the family. Uh, which is fine, but thankfully, I'm not like really late. It's just like about 30 minutes, which is still late, but whatever. It wouldn't have been actually, I would have been able to like start at the regular time, but the reason for that not happening was I came home, I immediately like got to my desk and started getting everything ready. Um and yeah, I didn't take off my makeup or anything. So I managed to like after I set everything up, I took off my makeup and like took a quick like very quick like just like rinsing my body kind of thing. Not like a proper bath, but like because I wanted to feel fresh. I feel weird. So, like, it's like a thing for me where I have to take a bath the moment I come home. Otherwise, I'll feel weird. Um, so I had to do that. So there you go. There's my excuse. Anyways, hello, Donut. Hello, Raven. Thank you so much for the lurker check-in. And congratulations on first, Donut. Uh, tonight... Oh, right. Happy Friday the 13th. Forgot again, by the way. Yeah, I can see that. Um, Happy Friday the 13th, by the way. 2.0 in 2026. This is the second Friday the 13th. And this is also not going to be the only Friday the 13th, by the way. There's a very good reason why, these streams are scheduled on on Fridays. Because in my head, I was like, yeah, it's going to be Friday the 13th at some point. And when it happens, it's going to be really cool and really funny. So, very strategic move. So, can this thing work? Hello? Second one this month, isn't that right, Ben? You know what? I think you've had your time as a mod. I think it's time that you retire. You know, I think you require a permanent break from this hell of a job. This very thankless job. Best day for this type of story. Yeah. Am I being forcibly retired? Yeah, just like you were forcibly trying to detox me? Yeah, you're being forcibly retired. Let me take away your mod perms, actually. Donut. On mod donut _2. A very tempting button to press. Another thing, I want to say, and it would be good if Donut could like pin this to chat, but I will not be having any monster today, any energy drink today. So all the hydrate redeems are going to be used for why is my model dead? The fuck? Stop dying. All the hydrate all the drown me redeems will be used for hydration only. Because so when we went to the restaurant, it was a Korean restaurant, it was really good food. They gave us like virgin mojitos complimentary. I don't know how that happened, but that happened. And it was ice cold. And I've already been sick. But I didn't want to miss out on the complimentary fucking. So I drank it. And now my monster flavored water, thank you. And I fucking drank it. My throat's a little bit scratchy. It's a little bit itchy. But you know. That one alright? That's perfect. Thank you, dear. But Yeah, my throat is. I've been unwell. I've been coughing a little, about a bit of congestion. Um, just generally throat not doing too well. Not bad enough that I have to cancel stream, thankfully, but bad enough that I don't want to like drink any more like sugary cold drinks and make it worse. So we're just gonna stick to water today. Hope that's alright. As much as I fucking love Monster. Now, for today, we will be reading a nice little story called Borrasca. I have no idea what this is about. I was going to get people to read it with me. Now, I need some hot ginger tea and lemon. Yeah, we do. That is typically my go-to for like colds and my throat acting up. Like ginger lemon tea with honey, typically. Should have gotten yourself some tea. I came home and like it was okay all day, and then I drank the cold ass drink, like an idiot. Drink water and think of Monster. I will. But yeah, I got home and like first thing I did was start getting ready for stream. I barely had time to make any tea, unfortunately. That's okay. That is perfectly alright. If I just take care of myself, today and tomorrow, hopefully it'll be okay. Well, I'm not sure about tomorrow, because tomorrow in the afternoon, my friend wanted me to go out with her. So you'll never be water has its own perks. I fucking love water. Water is goated as hell. Water may not be Monster, but water is water, and I love it for it being water. I love him for who he is. I should probably refill. Hold on. I'll actually refill it right now. I've got a bottle of water right here. I'll just pour it into my cup. You have a way with words? I do. I know. I can't tell if you're being like sarcastic or not, by the way. I can't tell if that's just like, oh my god, what the fuck are you saying? Like, oh my god, what the fuck are you saying? Like, you know? I can't tell which one it is. But hey. Typically I'm very high energy. This gives us a good opportunity to be very chill, low energy, very ASMR-y, you know? So might be good for the reading stream after all. I was really worried because I was like, oh god, I don't want my voice to be fucky for the reading stream, but you know, maybe this is okay. Low energy chill is my favorite. I am glad. If this thing would stop being the way that it is, maybe I could, no, that's too far. Someone say low energy, you want me to do push-ups? You know what? I'm feeling generous. And I need to be working out anyways. But try not to, interrupt the reading with push-ups. I'm doing them now. Since we haven't started reading. However, when the reading starts, try not to, redeem that too often. Because we want to focus on, low energy reading, okay? Aye, aye. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, don't disrupt the flow. Got it. There we go. Thank you. Um, let's say if I'm taking a break though. Let's say if I'm taking a break from the reading. Perfectly okay then. But you know what I'm saying, right? But anyways, enough yapping. Let's get to reading some creepy shit for Friday the 13th 2.0 in 2026. uh um 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 let me pull it up. Now, okay. So, I don't know how many like content creators are watching, but as we go through the reading, if there happens to be anyone who would like to join me, I would completely not mind. Like, just like doing some impromptu collaboration on this. Hi Bonsai, welcome. Hello Luffy. Just wanted to let you know I'm here and lurking, listen to it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you think that. Um Hello King Grant. Thank you so much for the lurker check-in. If I could pull this thing up, that would be so cool. Okay. Borrasca. Is it here? Oh, there we go. It's not fucky. Ah. Okay, it should be fine. So I'm gonna turn off the music for this. Why am I so on the... Hold on, what? Okay. Okay, did not mean to open that. I'm gonna turn off the music for this. Should look up. Thank you so much for the lurker check-in. But yeah, I mean, if we're reading and if any of my friends or any other person in my server or like, present with the content creator who wants to like hop on, do a little bit of impromptu collab on this thing, because I know there's multiple characters here. They definitely can. It's either gonna have to be on the server, you're gonna have to join the server. Speaking of which, I have got a if I could type. Got a Discord server. If anyone's ever interested in joining, if you're a content creator, you will get the content creator role, which will give you access to special channels and such. So feel free to join by. It's a good time. But all that aside, let's get into the story. It's a long story, but one you've never heard before. The story is about a place that dwells on the mountain, a place where bad things happen. And you may think you know about the bad things. You may decide you have it all figured out, but you don't. Because the truth is worse than monsters or men. At first, I was upset that they told me we were moving to some little town out in the Ozarks. I remember staring at my dinner plate while I listened to my sister throw a temper tantrum unbefitting of a 14-year-old honor student. She cried, she pleaded, and then she cursed at my parents. She threw a bowl at my dad and told him it was his fault. Mom told Whitney to calm down, but she stormed off, slamming every door in the house on the way to her room. I secretly blamed my dad as well. I'd heard the whispers too. My dad had done something wrong, something bad, and the sheriff's department had reassigned him to some little out of the way county to save face. My parents didn't want me to know that, but I did. I was 9, so it didn't take me too long to warm to the idea of a change. It was like an adventure. New house, new school, new friends. Whitney, of course, felt the opposite. Moving to a new school at her age was hard. Moving away from her new boyfriend, however, was even harder. While the rest of us packed up our things and said our goodbyes, Whitney sulked and cried and threatened to run away from home. But a month later, when we pulled up to our new house in Drisking, Missouri, she was sitting right next to me, texting viciously on her phone. Thankfully, we moved over the summer and I had months of free time to explore the town. When Dad started his new job at the sheriff's office, Mom drove us around the city commenting on this and that. The city was much, much smaller than St. Louise? Question mark? But also a lot nicer. There were no bad areas, and the entire town looked like something you'd see on a postcard. Drisking was built in a mountain valley surrounded by healthy forest land and walking trails and crystal clear lakes. I was 9. It was summer and this was heaven. We'd only been living in Drisking a week or so when our next door neighbors came to introduce themselves. Mr. and Mrs. Landy and their 10-year-old son Kyle. While our parents talked and drank mimosa, I don't know what that is, I watched the Landy's lanky, red-headed son hung. I watched the Landy's lanky, red-headed son hung out in the doorway, shyly eyeing the PS2 in the living room. Uh, do you play? I asked. He shrugged. Not really. Do you wanna? I just got Tekken 4. Tekken? Question mark. Um, Kyle glanced at his mom, who had just been handed her third mimosa. I don't know. Yeah, sure. And that afternoon, with the ease and simplicity of our age, Kyle and I became best friends. We spent the cool summer mornings outside exploring the Ozarks and the hot afternoons in my living room playing the PS2. He introduced me to the only other kid in the neighborhood our age, a skinny, quiet girl named Kimber Destaro. She was shy but friendly and always up for anything. Kimber kept up with us so well that she quickly became the third wheel on our tricycle. With my dad at work all the time, my mom consumed with her new friendships, and my sister locked in her room all day. Summer was ours to take, and take it we did. Kyle and Kimber showed me where all the best hiking trails were, which lakes were the best and most accessible by bike, and where the best stores were in town. By the time the first day of school rolled around in September, I knew I was home. On the last Saturday before school started, Kyle and Kimber told me they were going to take me somewhere special. Somewhere we hadn't been yet. The Triple Tree. What's the Triple Tree? I asked. It's a totally awesome, totally huge treehouse out in the woods, Kyle said excitedly. Whatever, Kyle. Come on, you guys. If there was a freaking treehouse, you would have shown it to me already. Nuh-uh, we wouldn't have. Kyle shook his head. There's a ceremony for first-timers and everything. Kimber nodded eagerly in agreement, her dark orange curls bouncing off her tiny shoulders. Yep, it's true, Sam. If you enter the treehouse without the proper ceremony, you'll disappear and then you'll die. My face fell. Now I knew they were making fun of me. That's a lie. You guys are lying to me. No, we're not, Kimber insisted. Yeah, we'll show you. We just have to get a knife for the ceremony and we'll go. What? Why do we need a knife? Is it a blood ceremony? I whispered. No way, Kimber promised. You just say some words and carve your name into the triple tree. Yep, it takes like 1 minute, Kyle agreed. And it's a really cool treehouse? I asked. Oh yeah, Kyle promised. Okay, I guess I'll do it then. Kyle insisted on using the same knife he used during his own ceremony, but we paid a price to get it. Mrs. Landy just happened to be home with her youngest son, Parker, and despite Kyle's many objections, his mother insisted he take his 6-year-old brother with him. Mom, we're going to the treehouse. It's only for older kids. Parker can't go. I don't care if you're going to see an Exorcist movie marathon. You're taking your brother with you. I need a break, Kyle. Can't you understand that? And I'm sure your friends won't mind. She flashed Kimber and me a challenging look. Right? No, not at all, Kimber said, and I nodded in agreement. Hello, P. Welcome. Kyle made a loud, dramatic sigh and called his brother. Parker, put on your shoes. We're leaving now. I'd met the youngest Landy several times before and found that he was as unlike his older brother in looks as in disposition. Where Kyle was a wild, excitable fireball with hair to match, I found Parker to be an anxious, fidgety boy with small eyes and dark brown hair. We got our own bikes. We got on our bikes and made our way to a lesser-known hiking trail a few miles away. I'd asked before where the trail led, when we'd ridden across it several weeks before Kyle had given me the underwhelming answer of, nowhere interesting. We pulled up the trail we pulled up the trailhead and leaned our bikes against the wooden signpost which read West Rim Prescott Ore Trail. Why are so many trails around here named Prescott? I asked. Is this Prescott Mountain or something? Kimber laughed. No, dummy. It's because of the Prescotts, you know? The family that lives in the mansion upon the Fairmont. Mr. Prescott and his son Jimmy own like half the business in town. More than half? Oh, wait. That's not a question. More than half, Kyle agreed. Hi, Winter. Welcome. Stuck here, kind of lurking. Have fun. Thank you so much. Have fun lurking. Thank you. Hello, Laughing Stock. Welcome. Which ones? Does he own the GameStop? The only store in Drisking I really cared about. I don't know about that one. Kyle wound a lock around the 4 bikes and clicked the bar into place, then spun the numbers on the dial. But like the hardware store, pharmacy, Gilton's on Second, and the newspaper. Did they start this town? Thank you so much for the pet, Polka. Welcome. Hi. I asked. Nah, mining started the town. I want to go home. Parker had been so quiet I'd completely forgotten he was there. You can't go home. Kyle rolled his eyes. Mom said I had to bring you. Now come on, it's only like a 2-mile walk. I want to take my bike, Parker answered. Too bad, we're going off trail. I don't want to go. I'll stay with the bikes. Don't be such a wussy. I'm not. Kyle, be nice, Kimber hissed. He's only 5. I'm 6, Parker objected. I'm sorry, 6. You're 6. Kimber smiled at him. Alright, fine. He can hold your hand if he wants, but he's coming. Kyle turned and started up the trail. Parker fell face Parker Parker's face fell into an undignified frown, but when the charming Kimber stuck her hand out and wiggled her fingers at him, he took it. Hell was right. It wasn't a long walk, only half a mile down the trail and then another half-mile hike on a well-tread path up the mountain. It was a steep climb, though, and by the time we got to the treehouse, I was winded. Winded? Winded? I don't know. What do you think? Kyle asked, excitedly. It's. I studied the tree as I caught my breath. It's pretty awesome. Oh god. Sorry about that. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Laughing Stock. Happy Friday the 13th. Thank you for the lurker check-in. Hello, Kayla. Welcome. Hi. It's pretty awesome, I smiled. And it was. They hadn't lied. The treehouse was the biggest I'd ever seen. It had multiple rooms, and there were actual curtains in the windows. A sign above the door said Ambercott Fort, and a rope ladder hung below the threshold, missing several planks. I'm going up first, yelled Parker, but Kimber caught his arm. You have to do the ceremony first or you'll disappear, she reminded him. That'd be fine with me, Kyle grumbled. I was eager to get in the fort myself. Give me the knife. I held out my hand. Kyle smiled and dug the switchblade out of his pocket. There's some space in the back to carve your name. I opened up the knife, walked around the tree looking for an empty spot. There were so many names on the tree that I had to crunch down and look near the bottom since I couldn't reach any higher. I spotted both Kyle and Kimber's carvings in the trees, and I finally found a spot I liked near the ladder. I bit my tongue and carved Sam W. into a blank piece of bark underneath someone named Paul S. Parker went next, but had so much trouble with the knife that Kyle had to do it for him. Alright, let's go. I ran over the rope ladder. Wait, Kyle yelled. You have to say the words first. Oh, yeah. Not like that. Oh, yeah. Okay. What are they? Kimber sang them out. Underneath the triple tree, there is a man who waits for me. And should I go or should I stay, my fate's the same either way. That's creepy, I said. What does it mean? Kimber shrugged. No one knows anymore. It's just tradition. Okay, can you say it one more time? Slower. Once Parker and I had recited the poem, we were ready to go. I climbed the rope ladder first and took stock of my new surroundings. The treehouse was more or less empty. Just dirty rug here and there, and some trash. Old soda cans, beer cans, and fast food wrappers. I went room to room, 4 in total, and found nothing of real interest until the last one. An old mattress lay in the corner and piles of musty, ripped clothing scattered the floor. Did a hobo live here? I asked. Nah, this room has been like this for as long as I can remember, Kyle said from the doorway behind me. Smells gross, I said. Kimber walked up to the threshold but refused to go any further. It's not the smell that freaks me out. It's that. She pointed up to the ceiling, and I raised my eyes to read what was written there. Road to the gates of hell, mile marker 1. What does it mean? I asked. It's just older kids being dicks, Kyle said. Come on, I'll show you the best part of the treehouse. We walked back to the first room, and Parker looked up at us and smiled, pointing down to what he'd clumsily carved into the wooden floor. Fart, Kyle read. That's hilarious, Parker. He rolled his eyes, but his little brother didn't pick up on the sarcasm and smiled proudly. Kimber sat down on the floor next to Parker, and I sat on his other side. Kyle took out the knife from his brother and then walked across the room and wedged the blade between two planks of the wooded wall. He pushed, and the board gave, opening up a small secret compartment in the wall. Hal took something out and pushed the plank back in until it was flush with the others. And check it out. He turned around and proudly held up two cans of Miller Lite beer. Whoa, I said. Ew, warm beer? That's gross. How'd you even know it was there? Kimber asked. Phil Saunders told me. Are we gonna drink it? I asked. Hell yeah, we're gonna drink it. These are kids, by the way. These are like nine-year-olds? Yeah, 9-year-olds. Kyle came and sat down in our circle, popped the first beer and offered it to Kimber. She eyed it like he was trying to hand her a dirty diaper. Come on, Kimmy. Don't call me that, she yelled at him, and then reluctantly took the open beer. She smelled it and made a face, then pinched her nose and took a small swig. Kimber shuddered. It's even grosser than I imagined. I don't want any. I'll tell Mom, Parker said quickly as the beer passed in front of him to me. Good, 'cause you ain't getting any, Kyle promised, and you won't tell Mom shit. I put on my best poker face and took a long, deep swallow of the warm beer before I had the chance to smell it. It was a poor decision when I retched. The foul yellow liquid went all over my shirt. Aw, man, how I'm gonna smell like beer. I spent the next hour and a half drinking the two cans of Miller Lite, and after a while the taste grew more tolerable. I couldn't tell if I was becoming a man or actually getting drunk. I hoped it was the former. When the last drop of the last beer was consumed, we spent 20 minutes trying to determine if we were drunk. Kyle assured us that he was wasted, while Kim wasn't sure. I didn't think I was, but I failed all our drunk tests. Kimber was in the middle of reciting the alphabet backwards when a loud metallic grinding suddenly pierced the calm mountain air like a gunshot. Kimber stopped talking and we spent a few minutes staring at each other, waiting for the noise to end. Parker curled into Kimber and put his hands over his ears. After what seemed like 10 whole minutes, the sound ended as suddenly as it began. What was that? I asked, and Parker mumbled something into Kimber's sweatshirt. Do you guys know? I tried again. Kimber stared at her feet, and she crossed and uncrossed them. Well? It's nothing, Kyle answered finally. We hear it sometimes in town. It's not a big deal. It's just louder up here. But what's making that sound? Borrasca, Kimball whispered, without taking her eyes off her feet. Who's that? I asked. Not who. Where? Kyle answered. It's a place. Another town? No, it's just a place in the woods. Oh, bad things happen there, Kimber said more to herself than me. Like what? Bad things, Kimber repeated. Yeah, don't ever try to find it, dude, Kyle said behind me. Or bad things will happen to you too. But like, what bad things? I turned around. Kyle shrugged and Kimber stood up and walked over to the rope ladder. We'd better go. I have to get home to my mom, she said. We climbed down the ladder one by one and then started the walk back to the trail head in an unfamiliar silence. I was dying of curiosity about Borrasca, but couldn't decide if and what to ask about it. So, who lives there? Where? Kyle asked. Borrasca. The skinned men, Parker answered. Kyle laughed. Only babies believe that. Like men who are skinned? Like their skin is gone? I asked excitedly. Yeah, that's what some kids say. Most of us stopped believing that, though, when we turned double lights. When lights? Double digits. When we turned double digits, Kyle said. I looked back at Kimber, who was still 9 like me, but she was staring down the trail, ignoring us. It seemed to be the end of the conversation, and by the time we reached our bikes, the awkwardness was gone, and we were giggling, trying to decide if we were too drunk to bike home. Lights. Okay, shut the fuck up. Mistakes happen. Leave me alone. School started 2 days later, and I had completely forgotten about Borrasca. When my dad pulled up to the curb to drop me off that morning, he locked the doors before I could get out. Not so fast, he laughed. As your father, I get the privilege of giving you a hug and telling you you have a good first day of school. But Dad, I gotta meet Kyle by the flag before first bell. And you will. But give me a hug first. In a few years, you'll be driving yourself to school. Let me be your dad while I still can. Fine, I said. Cabaret. Exact. Hold on. What the fuck? I am not reading that word, actually. I give up. And leaned over to give my dad a quick hug. Thank you. Now go meet your friend. Your mom will be waiting. Father in Christ. Your mom will be waiting here to pick you up at 3:40. I know, Dad. Why can't I take the bus like Whitney? When you're 12, you can take the bus. He smiled and unlocked the doors. Until then, I get to drop you off in the mornings. If you think it'd make you look cooler, you can ride in the back seat behind the cage. Dad, just don't. I threw open the door of his cruiser before he could say anything more and ran as he laughed behind me. Kyle was already waiting for me at the flagpole and he found Kimber too. Dude, you almost missed the bell, he yelled when he saw me. I know. Sorry. Whose class are you in? Kimber asked. She was wearing a red sweater and leggings with frogs on them. Her curly orange hair was brushed into ringlets and her lips were pink and shiny. She'd never looked prettier, and I was surprised to realize I'd never really seen Kimber as a girl. Ah, Mr. Diamonds. Me too, she said cheerfully. Lucky, Kyle scoffed. I'm in Mrs. Verdi's? Only two fourth-grade teachers, and I get the crappy one. Kimber grimaced. Yeah, my mom had her when she was a kid. What's wrong with her? What did she say? Just that she's strict and gives out homework on the weekends. On the weekends? Fuck. Excuse me, Mr. Landy? I immediately recognized the tall man that had suddenly appeared behind the white-faced Kyle. Sorry, sir. I meant dang, Kimber giggled. I'm sure you did. He nodded. Hi, Sheriff Clary. Even though I'd only met him a few times, I liked my dad's boss, and he liked me. Well, hello, Sammy. Are you excited for your first day? Sheriff Clary crossed his arms in front of him and widened his stance imposingly, but gave me a wide smile. Yes, sir, I said, and then added lamely, What are you doing here? I'm giving a presentation to the 5th and 6th grades about safety when walking to and from school. Yeah, he gives it every year, Kyle muttered. Cool, I smiled. Sheriff Clary nodded at me and then turned and walked away. I looked around confused. Where's Kimber? She took off. She's annoyingly on time to everything. As if to illustrate his point, the bell rang. We both ran up the stairs and inside. I walked into class and saw that Kimber had saved me a spot next to her at the back. Mr. Diamond, a short, round man of 40 or so, nodded at me when I came in. Mr. Walker, I presume? Yeah, that's me. I mumbled as I rushed past him to the desk next to Kimber. Welcome to Drisking Elementary. And for the rest of you, welcome back. Go Grizzlies! What the fuck? The class echoed a reluctant and subdued "Go Grizzlies." Kimber introduced me to the other kids in the class throughout the morning. Most of them were nice, if sort of underwhelmed by me. They said their hellos and asked where I was from, and the conversations usually ended with an unimpressed, "Okay." A group of girls who sat near the front snuck looks at us all morning and snickered. I asked Kimber who they were, and she just shrugged. During our second break, they came up and talked to me. "Are you friends with Kimber Testaro?" A tall, dark-haired girl asked me. "Yeah," I answered and looked over at Kimber. She was watching me with worried eyes. "Are you related to her?" "No, I didn't think so because you don't have orange hair." I didn't know what to say to that. You don't have to be friends with her, you know," with the oddly said the second girl with the oddly round face. "I want to be friends with her." The third girl behind the other two snorted. She had pretty auburn hair and a rude upturned nose. "Well, if you do, you're gonna be in the ugly kid group," the first girl warned. "And once you're in that group, you can't leave it ever." "Better than the bitch group," I said. Rude nose and round face gasped, but dark hair smiled. "We'll see," she said, and the three turned to their corner of the room. I sat back down next to Kimber, feeling like a badass. It was like the first time I'd ever used a swear word in front of anybody other than Kyle. "What did they say to you?" Kimber asked nervously. "They said you're too pretty to be near them, and that you'll make them look gross, so we have to stay away from them." "Hi, Shriek. Welcome. Thank you for the pets." Hold on, I need to hydrate. Let's see how long this is. "Liar," Kimber answered, but I could tell she was smiling. We met Kyle in the cafeteria at lunch, and he had nothing but bad things to say about his morning. Mrs. Verdi was old and mean, and she made everyone come up and say something about themselves, even though the class only had 14 kids and they all knew each other. When the bell rang for recess, I went to throw my lunch away with Kyle, and I bumped into a kid I hadn't seen before. "Waiting for you to start so I can make fun of you for it." Waiting for the love of the game, I see. Waste. Shut up, kiddo. "Hey, are you Sam Walker?" the kid asked. "Yeah, 2 hours straight a few days ago." And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. You gotta go now. Goodbye, Venom. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for dropping by, Laughing Stock. You have a good weekend. And you take care, okay? Now make up for it. One moment. Alright. Shriek, you're so good and you're so amazing and you're so cute and you're so funny. And thank you for being so nice and such a nice person to talk to, a nice person to hang out with. Um I hope you know that no matter how much I bully you, I still appreciate you as a person. Um, Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being a delight to speak to. And I hope you know that you're doing great. You're doing amazing. And I'm very, very proud of you, okay? And despite the bullying, I do respect you as a person. I do think you're very cool. And I do appreciate you immensely for dropping by. God, I love being a hater. I also love being a hater. That's why Love Me has a redeem of its own. Because I'm a hater most of the time, you gotta pay for the love. And feel bad making fun of her after that. Yeah, well. My throat is struggling though. I feel getting a little bit worse. I might not read the full thing today, solely because of how my throat's acting up. Ma'am, it's 4 parts. I'm reading the full thing. It's 4 parts. What are you talking about? Borrasca is 4 parts. Hold on. Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm definitely not reading all that. Yeah, I did not see that. Holy shit. And there's fifth part that was written a year later. Interesting. Nice, nice. It's a multi-part series then. Um, we met Kyle in the cafeteria at lunch, and he had nothing but bad things to say about his morning. Mrs. Verdi was old and mean, and she made everyone go. Oh, I read this. Hey, are you Sam Walker? The kid asked. Yeah. Oh, your sister is dating my brother. Oh man, Kyle laughed. Your sister is dating a white white tiger? White tiger? What? I don't know what that word is. I'm slow. Shut up, Kyle. The kid grumbled. She's gonna be Whitney. I am. What is that last name, bro? As funny as it was, I couldn't help but be a little surprised. Not that I'd been paying attention, but I'd only seen Whitney out of her room once over the summer. Um, where did she meet him? I asked the white. I don't know how to say this person's last name, bro. I don't know. Probably at his job. His job where? He works at Drisking Water. It didn't make any sense to me, but I shrugged it off. I remember my mom giving Whitney some menial tasks like getting the car washed and setting up some utilities to get her out of the house. Maybe she met him once they started dating over text. Teenagers are weird. The rest of the school week followed it much like the first. We were well into the first month when I heard someone mention the skinned men again. We were out on the playground, and Kyle and I were trying to start a fire with two large wood chips. I'd just given myself a splinter when the distant sound of metal grinding on metal flooded over the playground, silencing every one of us. Borrasca, I said in awe. Yep, said Phil Saunders. The skinned men kill again. Hey, Kyle said only babies believed in the skinned men. I threw an accusatory look at Kyle. They do. Phil is just stupid. I'm not. Ask Danielle. She's seen them. Phil scanned the playground and then yelled at a blonde girl talking to Rude Nose. Hey, Danielle, come here. The blonde girl rolled her eyes but came skipping over anyway. What do you want? I told you Kayla doesn't like you, Philip. No, tell them about the skinned men. Phil gestured to the air around us, which was filled with the metallic scraping coming down from the mountain. You tell them. No, you saw them, so you tell them. I didn't see them. Paige saw them. Oh, Phil said with an uncomfortable silence descended. And an uncomfortable silence descended. You guys are weird, Danielle said before flipping her hair in our faces and leaving. Who's Paige? I asked when she'd gone. Her sister, Phil said. Paige disappeared when we were like 5, Kyle said, after she saw the skinned men. Phil added. The sounds from the mountain abruptly ended and the subdued atmosphere of the playground disappeared with it. When the bell rang, Kyle lined up in his class line, and since Phil was in my class, I made sure I was behind him. The teachers began to count us off. Hey, what else do you know about Borrasca? I whispered to him. My brother said that that's where people go when they disappear. To Borrasca. What happens to them there? Bad things, he said, and then shushed me when I asked him what that meant. The year dragged on, and it wasn't until Christmas break that I heard the machine at Borrasca again. It was December, and there was a thick blanket of snow on the ground which only served to amplify the noise from the mountain. I sat in my room listening to it for a few minutes, trying to decide what was happening in the place that bad things happen. I saw my dad's cruiser pull up out the window and went downstairs to greet him. As I passed my sister's door, I heard her giggling in that annoying teenage girl way and I cringed. I hope Kimber never got like that. Dad, I skidded on the landing just as he opened the door. My dad stomped the snow off his boots and threw open his arms. Sammy, how many years has it been? He joked. It was true. I hadn't seen much of Dad lately since he worked so much. Doing what? I didn't know, since this was the quietest, lamest town ever. Mom thought the sheriff was grooming Dad for his job since Clary was so old and Dad never really agreed on or disagreed with her. He'd only been at the department 7 months, and he doubted people in the country would vote for him. In the country? In the county would vote for him. Hey Dad, do you hear that? That like machine sounding noise? Yep, I heard it in town every now and then. Do you know what it is? I asked the sheriff about it and he told me that the noise comes from private property up in the Ozarks. Is that is the property called Borrasca? I asked quickly. I have no idea. Borrasca? Where'd you hear that? I shrugged. Kids at my school. Well, it's nothing to worry about, Sammy. Probably just some logging equipment. But is the place called Borrasca? Like, have you heard that name before? No, I have not heard that before. Dad pulled his boots off and shrugged off his coat, looking towards the kitchen. I could tell I was losing him. Have you ever heard of the skinned men? I asked quickly. Skinned men? Good God, Sam, is your sister telling you these stories? No, but he wasn't listening to me anymore. Whitney! He yelled up to the stairs. No, Dad, Whitney doesn't even talk to me, I repeated. I heard a door creak open upstairs and Whitney peered over the railing, phone in hand and an annoyed look on her face. Are you trying to scare your brother? Dad demanded. Dad, no, I said again. Whitney shot me a betrayed look. Ugh, seriously? As if I'd waste my time. You aren't telling him stories about skinned men? No, Dad, I told you. I heard it at school, I said. Whitney gestured to me as if to say, see? All right, well, you kids need to start getting along. Your family, for Christ's sake. Whitney rolled her eyes, and when Dad walked into the kitchen, she stuck her tongue out at me. Real mature, Whitney. I yelled up at her, but she was already gone. I'll tell Dad about your boyfriend. Christmas came and went with surprising smoothness at our house. Whitney and I got everything we'd had on our lists, which was a first for us. The town may be smaller, but Dad's paychecks were clearly better. I wore my new Rams parka on the first day back to school after Christmas break. Kyle fawned over it, and Kimber showed off the blue pearl necklace her mom had gotten her for Christmas. Kyle and I feigned interest but did it poorly. Kimber knew. She just seemed happy we cared enough to fake it. As we said goodbye to Kyle for the morning, Kimber was suddenly slammed from the side. Kyle caught her before she fell, and I spun around angrily to see a dark-haired girl, whose name I'd learned was Phoebe Dranger, laughing and walking away from us with round-faced girl. You're bad people who make poor life choices, Kyle yelled at them. When I'm your boss someday, I'll make you clean bathrooms. Yeah, and if Kyle's your boss, you know you messed up, I added. Kyle and I high-fived and turned to Kimber, but she wasn't sharing our victory. She was trying to hide the tears on her face. Don't sweat those girls, Kimber. Nobody likes them. People are just nice to them because they're related to the Prescotts. Kyle tried to give her an awkward pat on the back, but Kimber turned away from him and ran in the opposite direction. I hate those girls. Like, I really hate them. I know, they're bitches, Kyle answered, mouthing the last word he looked over his shoulder for any lurking adults. Well, I better get back to class and make sure they don't try and talk to her again. There's an assembly this morning, no class until after lunch. Seriously? That's awesome. Do we get to sit by class? Do we have to sit by class? Not usually, but we better get there quick so we can get seats at the back, Kyle said as we started walking. What's the assembly for? I asked. It's either D-A-R-E, D-A-R-E, or the History Society presentation. What's D-A-R-E? Can I stop doing that? Am I retarded? What's D-A-R-E? Yeah. Fuck. You know, D-A-R-E? As in, don't you dare do drugs or you're grounded until you're dead? Oh, I hope it's a history thing then. We found Kimber already in the auditorium. She had collected herself and saved us both seats at the back of the room. She waved us over just as the puffy, stern Mrs. Verdi walked to the stage. Hello, fourth grade students. This morning we have a special presentation for you from the Historic Preservation Society of Drisking. If you have questions during the course of the lecture, please raise your hand. Like, that'll happen, Kyle laughed. Now, I'd like to introduce you to Miss What Dowding, Miss Catherine Scanlon, and of course, Mr. James Prescott. What? Jimmy Prescott and not his dad? So weird, Kimber whispered. Dude, Thomas Prescott has done his presentation every year for like 20 years, Kyle said. That's definitely weird. It's not weird, whispered Mike Sutton from behind us. He leaned forward. Tom Prescott went crazy like a year ago. He didn't do the presentation last year when my sister was here either. I don't like Jimmy Prescott. Kimber shook her head. Sorry. He gives me the heebie-jeebies. His dad is so much nicer. He's like a grandpa. Hi, Reyes. Welcome. The presentation was slow and boring. Mr. Dowding and Miss Scanlon talked about the first settlers here, the Cherokee and the Trail of Tears. They talked about Alexander Driscoll's discovery of a motherlode of ore in the mountains and settling here with his family to mine and refine the iron. Then James Prescott took the stage from there to tell the story of his family's early journey to the town and their role in the revitalization of Drisking itself in the late 50s. Can't stay long, but because I'm at work, but I hopped. Can I read? I hope you have a wonderful trip. Thank you. Thank you for dropping by. That means a lot. Thank you. And I hope work is not too demanding. Uh, fuck. God. Yeah, I think today's stream is gonna be quite short. I my my throat hurts and oh no, I'm suddenly very tired. I hate it. I fucking hate it so much. Anyways, the last part was the most interesting of it all, and I found Jimmy Prescott to be infallibly charismatic and entertaining. I was so busy laughing at his jokes and hanging on to his every word that by the end of his presentation, I realized that I had actually learned quite a bit. So much so that I was interested enough to ask a question which Kyle warned was committing social suicide. Mr. Prescott scanned the room and answered a few other questions before he finally got to me at the back. Yes, you in the back. Mr. Prescott, why did the mines close? Like, what happened? I asked. Very good question, young man. What did you say your name was? Ah, Sam Walker. Ah, I believe I met your father the other day at the sheriff's office. Welcome to Drisking. As for your questions, most of the mines were closed in 1951 after a long period of unprofitability. The mountain had simply ran out of iron ore. The mills and refineries were abandoned and the town suffered for years. Hi, Shai, welcome. Thank you for the pets. And to do what's best for you and your health. I'll see how long I can go here. The miners and their families moved away, stores went out of business, schools closed, and Drisking became a ghost town. That would have been the end of it, if it weren't for stubborn families like mine who refused to leave. We refused to give up the town, and after many, many years of hard work, Drisking became the picturesque little haven in the Ozarks that it is today. I hope that answers your question. I sat back down and Cal shook his head at me. Bro. The assembly suffered through another 15 minutes of awkward Q&A until Mrs. Verdi finally cut us loose. We were released into the cafeteria to wait for lunch lines to open. Kyle, Kimber, and I sat in our usual corner. That was so boring. Kyle whined. When are they going to figure out that no one cares about Drisking's history? Seriously, I fell asleep like 3 times. Kimber nudged me. Sam seemed to care, she teased. I just wanted to know about the mines. Mines are creepy, that's all. Yeah, but all our mines were blown up. Can't go in them anymore, Kyle said. Blown up? I asked. Kimber nodded. Some kids died after going into the mine, so the city set off some controlled blasts to implode the caverns. At least that's what my mom said. They messed up though, and I heard they blew up the water table or poisoned it or something. But how do you know that? Kyle asked. Kimber shrugged. I heard my dad talking about it. Did they use C4 or something? I guess. So, like, we all drink the water, so we all have C4 in our bodies and we could explode at any minute, Kyle said excitedly. Do you think that's what happened to all the missing people? I asked him. Just sitting there one day and boom. Yeah, dude. Kyle grabbed my shoulders. And that's where the skin men come from. I made the international symbol of mind blown and we laughed hysterically. You guys are dumb, Kimber rolled her eyes, and then she laughed when Kyle fell on the floor pretending he was exploding. I remember thinking in that moment that I was happy here in Rusking, Missouri, with these two people. Happier than I'd ever been anywhere else. It was the last truly happy moment I ever had. Less than an hour later, Mr. Diamond's phone rang, and he exchanged a few quiet words with the person on the other end, his eyes flicking to and from my desk. It was hard to be surprised then, when he hung up and asked me to come up to the front. When I got there, he told me my mom was waiting for me in the office and I was going home for the day. I traded a confused and worried look with Kimber and then packed up my backpack and went to the office. When I got there, my mom was crying. We drove home in the strained silence. I was too afraid to ask what was wrong. Mom parked the car a block from our house, which was blocked by several police cars. When an explanation didn't come, I broke the silence myself. Is it Dad? I asked, quietly, holding back tears. No, honey, Dad is fine, she whispered. Then what happened? Whitney never made it to school this morning. Her voice broke over my sister's name. Oh, no, Mom, I think she ditched, I said quickly. I saw her leave this morning. I was really early, like 6, and she was with her friends. Um, Pete, wait, I, how do you say this fuck ass name, bro? What the fuck? And that kid Taylor. We know about all that, Sam. But they made it to school and Whitney wasn't with them. They said she wanted to stop by the Circle K near Drisking High, so they left her there. And no one has seen her since. Well, my brain struggled to come up with an explanation. Maybe she's ditching. No, honey. My mom put the car back in drive and drove up to our house, parking behind a police cruiser. The police, as well as your father, think that Whitney is with Jay. But she has a new boyfriend here. We found all her books on the floor of her room this morning, and half her clothes gone along with some cash of your dad's. But right now, we think she hitched her ride to St. Louis and that she's with Jay. The sheriff's office is trying to contact the boy's parents now. Whitney run away? Anyone who knew my sister knew she was prone to dramatics and empty threats. Plus, she was dating Chris. I'm not. I'll give up on the last name, bro. Older brother, Pete. I was sure of it. We walked up the steps and into a house filled with stale coffee and quiet murmurs. I tried to remember if Whitney herself had ever actually confirmed she was dating Pete, but I drew a blank. When we walked to the kitchen, I saw my father sitting at the table, staring at phone records, head in hand. He looked up when I came to the room and gave me a weak smile. Hey, buddy. Dad, I have to tell you something. I felt a heavy hand on my shoulder and turned to look up at a solemn Sheriff Clary. Everything and anything you might know, son, no matter how trivial you think it is. I nodded and sat down at the table with my dad as my mom handed a big man, the big man a cup of coffee. Here you go, Sheriff, she said weakly. Please, Mrs. Walker, call me Killian. My mother nodded and retreated back into a darkened corner to talk quietly with Sheriff Perry's wife, Grace. What do you know, Sam? My dad asked as he rested his chin on his hands in a mock symbol of prayer, as though I may deliver him from his suffering. Well, just I heard Whitney had a boyfriend, that guy Pete that she's been hanging out with, and I saw them and Taylor Dranger leave this morning before me. What time did they leave? Asked the sheriff. I don't know, like before 6. He nodded. That matches statements of Taylor Rangers and the fuck his name boy. My father's head sunk lower into his hands, and I knew I'd let him down. But I rushed. I don't think she went back to St. Louis because she was dating Pete. I don't think she wanted to be with her boyfriend back home anymore. I understand that, son, but a teenage girl's mind is a complicated thing. My officers are trying to get a hold of the boyfriend's family back in St. Louis. Very nodded to my father. Now why don't you head up to your room and let us work, Samuel? I look up at him in a surprise. What? No, I want to stay down here. I can help. No, son, there's nothing more you can do here. You've been a good brother. Now let us handle this. But I can help. You already have. Dad! I look over at my dad with begging eyes. Go to your room, Sam, he said quietly after a moment. I balked. Dad. Now. I was so angry I did the only thing that I could to make my rage known. I stomped upstairs, slammed the door, and then sat on my bed in disbelief. Tears came then, and I laid there feeling helpless, worthless, and scared for my sister. I thought about all the places Whitney could be. Was she scared? Was she alone? Was she dead? When the sun began to set, I finally got out of bed and went to check my email. I was expecting lots of messages from Kimber and Kyle, but there was only one. Did she go to the treehouse? I sat there staring at the computer screen for almost a minute. Kimber's words from last fall echoed in my brain. If you enter the treehouse without a proper ceremony, you will disappear and then you'll die. I didn't buy that Whitney had gone to the Circle K that morning, and I especially didn't believe that she'd hitchhiked out of town. Nothing they were saying downstairs made any sense if you knew my sister, but maybe this did. Maybe she and her boyfriend went to the treehouse to make out or something, and maybe he'd left her there. Maybe she'd gotten lost. Maybe the skin men had found her. That was the worst thought of all. I didn't need to sneak out because the police were too busy with my parents to care about me anyway. I snuck my bike out of the garage and rode the 3 miles to the West Rim Prescott Ore Trail. When I got there, I saw 2 bikes already locked to the signposts and my 2 best friends sitting in the snow next to them. I knew you'd come, Kyle said when I pulled my bike up and Kimber ran up to hug me. I'm so sorry, Sam. There was really nothing for me to say and they didn't push. Kimber took my arm and we stared up at the trail. The silence between us was stretched but comfortable. We trudged through the snow, and all the while I searched for the telltale footprints of others, but the snow was coming too fast. The hike up the mountain was harder and wetter than when we'd come in the fall, and when Ambercott Fort finally came into view over the ridge, it was a welcome sight. The sun was getting low, and we hadn't brought flashlights. I fell as I ran up to the tree, calling my sister's name to the quiet wild. Hal was right behind me and leapt impressively onto the rope ladder, climbing quickly up the planks. I kept calling Whitney's name, waiting for Kyle to yell that he'd found her or that there was at least some sign of her. And then I heard Kimber quietly say my name and where she stood at the triple tree. I ran over and tried to follow her eyes to confirm what I already knew was there. And I found it, freshly carved near the top. Whitney W. My breath froze in my chest and my vision blurred with unwelcome tears. And as the sun took its last desperate breath before plunging into the deep of the horizon, a deafening metallic whirl sang out from the wilderness and spilled down the mountainside. You were supposed to say the words, the little poem before you entered. Bro. You know, this would be so, like, fucked up if that was the end. Imagine if it just ended there, yeah. Imagine if it just ended, dude, that'd be so fucked up. Ay, ay, ay. So that was part one of Borrasca. How do you guys feel about it so far? I will be fighting the demons to not read more till next week. Yeah, wait for me. I want to read it with you guys. Suffering, you'll be okay. But yeah, getting a feel of the whole thing. I kind of want to get somebody to read it with me. I kind of want to make these streams like with people. Really good setup though, like holy, right? Like, it is interesting. I do like it. At least so far. I was told by somebody on Twitter, they were like, yeah, you're either gonna ask around then, bro. I know people who I would like to invite. I just haven't asked. Oh, I know. Again, my thing is, if someone drops by these streams and they like want to do like an impromptu collab, they just hop on and they like start reading with me. That would also be welcome. I would not mind that. Like if someone just like was here and they wanted to be like, hey, oh my god, you're reading this. Would you want me to drop by and like pop voice call real with you? I'd be like, sure, man. Come on. I don't care. But yeah, I do want to plan these though. I do want to like mm, get somebody to read this with me maybe. Because there's the character of like the sheriff. Alright, bro, hop on. There's the character of the sheriff, the dad, the mom, Kimber, Kyle. If we're reading like one part each stream, it's gonna be like a 5-part sort of thing. If people are saying there's 5 parts so far. I was told I'm gonna either hate or love the ending. I don't know how to feel about that. Because remember the ending to the Left Right game? It gave such cosmic horror vibes, like such weird core horrors beyond human comprehension vibes. It was kind of cool, honestly, but like it made me want to punch my desk. It made me want to throw something at the wall. Cause like so much happened, and then that's just it. I don't know, man. Favorite genre? Cosmic horror is very good as a genre. Yeah. But it still fucked me up a little bit because I was like, I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess it wasn't that. Cosmic Horror is great. Cosmic Horror is quite good, actually. Oh, yeah, that was a nice little stream. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed like reading it with me. Um, how do you feel about it? Like, I want to know. I want to know y'all's like opinion so far. It's not a dialogue line recently in a game that hit the Cosmic Horror vibes so well. Yeah, I fuck with it and I need more. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. The Borrasca ending fucked me up. Part 5 ruined it and it is unnecessary. I see. Could dig up for you real quick. Would be really nice actually. But I mean, yeah, sequels can typically either go one of two ways, right? Either perfectly tie everything very well together right at the end, or completely fuck the existing story up. And typically it's like the latter, which is sad. I found it, it's in your DMs. You think you are exploring the boundaries of existence. You are an insect charting cracks of the ancient stone on which you stand, blind to the dead stone forest that encircles. That is so, dude, that is so peak. Hello? Hi. But, yeah, I mean, I. Oh, fuck. God. And that's from Path of Exile. The entire end game is an Eldritch horror themed. Really now. It's quite interesting. Mm. Oh my god, someone's playing. Thalion is playing Tekken 8. Since the game was mentioned in the story, I think we're gonna raid Thalion then. It's just, like, it'll fit the vibe. Oh, I'm sorry I sound so gross. I'm actually just, Borrasca, no. Why? Hello, Alfie, welcome. Why are you losing your shit? I just finished reading part 1. What's wrong with it? It looks, we fuck with it so far. Gorgeous animation, shut up, bro. Bro. Don't try lying to my face out here, bro. Do you like this shit, Donna? You like lying to me? Making me sad? I never lie to you. I know. Yeah, yeah, buddy. That's what they all say. That's what my ex said, and then you told me you loved me. Sorry, 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 sorry. Except that people find your voice nice, sweetie. Okay, bro. What am I in your mind? No, it's not even about you. It's just I Oh man. Anyways, I don't see anybody that's like small and streaming. Oh, what the fuck? Hello? Um, one moment. I see how it is. Shoot, get out of here. Oh. Fake ASMR is doing a birthday stream, it seems. We're gonna raid them on YouTube at least. And as for Twitch, oh goodness fucking gracious. That was a nice little like bite-sized short stream. Typically my streams are at minimum 2 hours. But it's just I can't today, man. Hello, hi, welcome. Unfortunately, I'm just about to end and raid out. I am so sorry. Not so stressful. Oh, it was fun. Hope you feel better soon. I'll feel better eventually. I just need some time to like recover, that is all. But I'll be okay for the most part. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, baby girl. But yeah, since the game was mentioned in the story, I think we're gonna raid Cillian because they are streaming Tekken 8. And I think 4 was mentioned. Be on your channel. Add you up on Discord. I don't really accept a random like DMs or like friend requests. But you're free to join the Discord, the server, as in. I'm so sorry for what you will witness. I'm sure I'll be okay. But yeah, copy my raid message if you want to join the raid, and I would heavily suggest that you do because it does help the next streamer with numbers. You don't have to stay through their whole stream, but at least join the raid. You can tab out after the raid because at least providing the viewer count does help. It does help smaller streamers like a lot. And not just that. Actually, let me read. Let me start the raid actually. But yeah, not just that, I've also got a YouTube. If you are ever interested in that, you can click on that link and you will get it'll take you to my card where you can then find my YouTube, my Twitter where I shitpost a lot if you like my voice. You've got my YouTube where I make girlfriend audios. You've got my Twitter where I shitpost a lot. You've got Patreon if you want exclusive audios on there. And other exclusive stuff. You've got my Blue Sky, Tumblr. You also got my Ko-fi and Throne if you ever feel like spoiling me. Actually. Yeah, please feel free to take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Actually, no, don't feel free. Do it. take care of yourselves, eat well, sleep well, hydrate, okay? And I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be having a collab with Doc Lucius. We will be playing Raft together. So I hope you can drop by for that. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a good time. I shall get some rest in a bit. Um, I love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Join my Discord. There's fun stuff that goes on there. And bye bye.